What is going on? This time we have Relative Danger. Directed by Roxanne Boisvert. Writers are Roxanne Boisvert and Christian Comerford. Starring Laura Provenzano as Alice, Christian Comerford, the writer, she's an actor too, okay, as Angie, Dennis Andres as Jordan, Jamie Hertmeyer as Louise, and Deborah Hale as Marissa. And there's another lady too, but I didn't mention her because she's in the movie, but she's not really in the movie. You'll see. First we see Alice. She's home alone. She's the daughter of Sydney, but she's home alone and she hears some noises in the house and all that. So she calls her mom. She's like, "Mom, somebody's in the house." Now, why she didn't call 911? I don't know. I mean, if you're at home alone and you hear some noises, you might want to call the police. But she calls her mom. Her mom's like, I'm on my way. And so while all this is happening, Angie is the one that's pranking her, making her think that somebody's breaking in the house, but really aren't, just trying to scare her because she's watching a scary movie. At this time, the mom's kind of rushing home. She goes to rush home, and then somebody straight runs her clean over, straight flattens her. But she's not dead. She's knocked out. The person stands over her, snatches her chain off. They thought she was dead. And so that's how we end that first scene. Alice and the aunt, they're at home. They don't know what just happened. She gets rushed to the hospital and she's in a coma. They end up by her side. But all of a sudden the movie switches to this guy. His name is Jordan. Obviously they're trying to make us feel like he has something to do with the so-called accident that's not really an accident. And so they show him, he's kind of sitting at home, kind of brewing, looking at his phone, looking a little agitated and stuff like that. Nothing really happens right there, but I just want to mention him, Jordan, that he's around and he looks aggravated, and they showing him right after the accident. Is there a connection? I guess we're gonna see. Or the writers and the director trying to trick us. And then we meet Louise, Sydney and Angie's mother, Alice's grandmother. Can't believe I memorized all these names. But we meet her. She's kind of clingy. She's like talking down to her daughter, the one that's still conscious, pretty much saying that she wouldn't be a good mom. And so that kind of sets off ideas in here. Well, this overbearing mother, did she run over her daughter? Is she trying to get rid of her daughter so she can have her grandchild to herself? You know, they sprinkling little ideas in your head, a couple of red herrings trying to get you going and stuff, but they're all at the hospital and they're all worried about her and trying to figure out what happened to her. And I do like how they are trying to make you think this person, that person did it, because the name of the movie is Relative Danger. And that's actually a good movie name, because a lot of these movies, the names are very lazy, like Bad Nurse or Boy Who Killed. They're just very basic. This one is like Relative Danger. It's like, okay, it could be like a danger around. There could be danger here. It's relative danger. Then also, okay, it's a relative that's being dangerous, or you're a relative that might be in danger. So this is a great name. I have to say it because they have so many bad names. Angie, she's super suspicious about the accident. She said, "I don't think it's an accident." She thinks that somebody done something. And so she goes to Sydney's house and she's looking around and she finds this notepad with Jordan's name on there. She was like, "Who the hell is Jordan?" She mentions it to her mom, and her mom like, "I don't know who Jordan is." But you could tell her mom kind of knows something, but she's not saying anything. But Angie, she's like, "Okay, I don't know who this guy Jordan is." But on the note it said that he was supposed to meet her. They were supposed to meet up that night. So she's like, okay, something going on with this guy Jordan. I think she told the police about the guy, and so she's trying to do a little detective work on her own. And she talks to Sydney's co-worker. He's like very hesitant. He tells her, he said, "Well, you don't know this, but about a year ago, Jordan, that's Alice's father, reached out to Sydney wanting to get back in Alice's life." And Angie's like, "No, he's dead." And he's like, "No, she's not dead." She told everybody that he was dead because he had become an alcoholic, and she didn't want him messing up Alice's life, so she lied and said the man was dead. It's like, damn, girl. And so nobody knew, but she told her coworker, and the coworker felt like, okay, it's time to say something. She's devastated, like, oh my God, I can't believe my sister lied to me, and she's all upset and stuff. We think that the mom knows, but she hasn't been saying something. She's been keeping it a secret too, because they're all trying to protect Alice. Damn, Sydney just living a lie. And they were supposed to meet up that night to talk about trying to get Alice back into Jordan's life, because he like really wants to get his daughter in his life. He's changed his life. He's a new man. He's a different man. He's not trying to get back with Sydney. He's just trying to get to know his daughter. Now, by us hearing all this about Jordan, looking at a Lifetime movie, we would think, okay, Jordan, he wants to get with his daughter, and maybe Sydney wasn't letting it happen. Did he run over so he can get access to his daughter? I mean, in real life, that probably wouldn't happen, but, you know, this is a Lifetime movie, so it's possible. So, you know, they throwing all type of different ideas out here. Once again, relative danger. The danger can come from any relative. The sister, the mother, the father, who knows? Next scene we see, overnight at the hospital, everybody's gone, and we see somebody creeping into Sydney's room. Like they're coming in there, they're trying to stick her with a needle, they're trying to kill her. And that nurse, the friend of Sydney, happened to come in there while this is happening. That person, they're covered up, you can't really see who they are. They end up grabbing the nurse instead of getting to Sydney. End up sticking the nurse with a needle in their neck. End up killing them. So this person tried to kill Sydney once by running her over, and now they broke into the hospital where there's a bunch of people and a bunch of cameras. They must really want this woman dead. So then we go back to Jordan. We go over to his place, and remember, he's fresh back in town. He's reconnecting with older people. He's reconnected with family. And he finds out that his mom, she's kind of been going on hard times or whatever, so she comes to stay with him, and so he's dealing with her. She's a little overbearing also, and we find out here that Louise, Sydney and Angie's mother, Alice's grandmother, she does know about Jordan. He comes to the house and he's like, hey, I want to be in my daughter's life, and she's like, You don't need to be around. You're not a good person. He's like, I've changed. I'm not like this anymore. And she's like, did you do this to Sydney? The mom's like, she knows everything. Angie happens to show up, but they don't hear her, and she's overhearing them. So she finds out that who Jordan is for sure, and that her mom knew that Jordan was around the whole time. And so she's kind of just listening. And so Jordan leaves. Angie comes and talks to her mom, Louise, and she acts like nothing happened, like everything's fine. But at that point, Louise tried to pay off Jordan. She tried to give him like a big check just to leave everybody alone, just to get away from here. I'll pay you. Leave your daughter alone. She's fine without you in her life. And so now, of course, Angie, she's upset because her mom been holding this information away from her, even though she hadn't confronted her about it yet. But she does confront her mom about it, and while she's confronting her mom about it, the daughter Alice hears her aunt Angie and her grandmother Louise talking about her dad and saying that he's in town. And so the daughter is for the first time realizing that she has a dad. He's alive and he's in town and he works down the street, and she's overhearing all this stuff, and she's like enraged, but she didn't say anything. She just ran off that next day or that next morning to go and see him at his job. She meets him out there, and he's real nice, and he's real apologetic, and she's like, I don't trust you, I don't know you, why would you leave me? He's like, I didn't, it wasn't my idea, I was going through a lot, I got in a lot of trouble, I changed my life, I wrote you a journal. And so he's like a sweet guy trying to be in his daughter's life, and she's kind of reluctant, but she did take the letters that he wrote to her, and so she's having like a connection to her dad that she didn't even know she had. And so while this is going on, her aunt and her grandmother, they're like, where is she? They're looking for her. So they're freaking out trying to find her. But she's okay. She shows back up, and they're like, where you been? And she's like, I met my dad, and he's this. And they're like, you can't trust him. He's an alcoholic. He did this to your mom and all this stuff. So there's a bunch of confusion. All these lies, folk. When you lie, you got to keep lying. You gotta lie about this, lie about it. Never ends. Now the mom in a coma, and she finding out that she got a daddy. Craziness going on in this family. And then finally, we do get some good news. Sydney, she's showing signs. She's coming out of her coma. So we like, woohoo! something good happened around here. But didn't last long. Louise is at home and somebody's stalking around her house. They break into the house and they're about to kill her. It looked like the same person that was in the hospital, the same person that ran over Sydney, trying to kill Louise now. But Angie shows up, just happens to show up. Alice is in the car, but Angie comes in the house and the stalker person runs out the back door and the mom's like, I think somebody's in the house. And so she's kind of freaking out. And so next thing you know, they hear the car outside skirting off. That person then kidnapped Alice. So just when they're getting Sydney back, Alice get kidnapped. And so they freaking out. They're like, oh my God, she's missing. And so of course they go to the police. And the police first thought is, or everybody first thought is like, Jordan kidnapped Alice. You know, he kidnapped his daughter. So the next scene we get, Alice, she's waking up in the back seat of a moving car and it's dark. And she's like, where are you taking me? And the person doesn't respond, and then next thing you know, the car is pulling into a garage, and then the person comes around, opens up the door to let Allison out, and y'all won't believe this, it's Jordan's mom. Marissa, her crazy ass. She done kidnapped her granddaughter. Nah, okay. She's been busy. Her little frail ass been busy. And she frail in the body and frail in the mind, because here's her little breakdown for what I gather. When she was raising Jordan, she had a daughter also named Chloe. Chloe was killed by accident. She blames Jordan for Chloe dying. So she ain't been the same since. Jordan's been out of town, you know, living his life, whatever. His mom been in town, and they kind of estranged. But he came in town, and so she decided he let her move in with her. She's kind of been in the background this whole time. You don't really pay attention to her because she just seemed a little weird, but she ain't bothering nobody. But she's the one that ran over Sydney, tried to kill her. I guess she was trying to, I don't know what her goal was, to kill Sydney. Maybe so Jordan could get custody of Alice so she can get closer to Alice. I don't know. So she tried to kill Sydney. She also went into the hospital and killed the nurse, Sydney's co-worker friend. And she broke into Louise's house trying to kill her. And now she done kidnapped the baby. And now she got the girl locked up in a room, feeding her drugs. And we're going to find out real shortly that she ended up killing one of Jordan's childhood friends. This woman is out of damn control. She is doing everything. And I can't lie, she definitely has some great time management, because she's done a lot in a very short period of time. I mean, she's been working. We've been chilling, just watching the movie, trying to recover. She been working all angles. She been busy. Her little ass been around because didn't even notice. So, of course, they're blaming Jordan for everything, and they confront Jordan because they found his DNA inside of the abandoned car that Marissa apparently kidnapped Allison. And so, but they don't know that the reason why it's his DNA because it's his mom. So they're not really making a connection to police. So they put him on house arrest. And Angie goes over there and they go to brainstorming and doing some detective work. They put it together that his mom had something to do with it. I'm not going into details how they figured that out. So he said, you know, F this house arrest. I'm going over there. So they drive over there. And so their plan is Jordan's going to lure her out of the house. And then Angie's going to sneak in there and grab Alice and, you know, get him out. That's the plan. And so that's what they do. He hollers at her, Marissa, and she comes out, Jordan, where are you, Jordan? And so she runs off, chasing him into the woods. She got a gun and everything. Angie runs inside to get Alice. And I ain't gonna lie, I actually felt a little nervous, like, man, y'all better help me get out of this house before this crazy lady come back. I was a little nervous, so the drama was working on me. I was like, get out of the house, she's coming. So as soon as they got out the house, she pops back up with her gun. You can't take her away from me. You can't take her away from me. And so they all having like a little confrontation outside. And Angie, she does something real smart. She knows Marissa is batshit crazy, so she's like, you know, I agree with you, Marissa. Jordan, he wouldn't be a good father. He wouldn't be able to protect Alice. He couldn't even protect Chloe. And she's like, yeah, yeah. So her crazy ass think that Angie is on her side now. And then Alice, she picks up on it too. And Jordan looking at him like, oh, that's a good idea. He's like kind of not saying nothing. And Alice like, yeah, Dad, you can't take care of me. I want to stay with Marissa. And she's like, do you mean that, baby? Do you mean that? So her crazy ass buying into it. She's actually playing a crazy lady pretty good. And so at this point, Angie jumps over and knocks the gun out of her hand. And Alice grabs her. And so Angie has the gun now. And Jordan, I think he grabs Alice. And they're like holding at gunpoint. And she looks around. She's like, no! She's screaming, you can't have her! But she lost. All her little delusions of grandeur just went going down the drain. The police show up. Of course, you know, they figure out everything. And yeah, she goes to the crazy house. And the family is reunited. And yeah, that, you know, let me tell you about this movie. I watched it the first time and I actually fell asleep watching it. And then I woke up almost toward the end and I saw the very end, but I didn't see it leading up to the end. So my opinion of this movie in the beginning wasn't really that good because I fell asleep for one thing and it didn't really have a lot of action in it. You know, I like the action pieces. I like to make fun of the action scenes that they usually not done that well, and I enjoy that. But I gotta say, I watched this movie a second time, and the writing in this movie is really tight. There's really no loose ends. Like a lot of these movies, there are some loose ends, and it just don't make a lot of sense. And what also made it good was the mom. I mean, she was just over the top crazy, and I loved it. I mean, you know, in her demented mind, it's understandable for her to blame her son for the death of Chloe. You know, rational people wouldn't, but you understand that. But for her to actively be trying to get him in jail for doing something to his daughter that he's trying to reunite with, and knowing full well that she's the one that kidnapped him and everything, she's trying to get his ass in jail. That's some evil, cold shit. Diabolical. So I appreciate her super evilness. It was fun to watch. So with all that being said, wasn't the most action-packed movie, but the writing was really tight. I enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a 5. Out of a scale from 1 to 10, a 5 is average. That is good. That is not a diss. That's a good movie. I think it's worth watching. Relative Danger. And once again, love the name. It was a really good movie. So anyway, hope you enjoyed my review, breakdown, rating of Relative Danger, and I will see you on the next one.